So hello and welcome to another episode of Bloke Gaming. So today I am going to have my first go at tackling the question that everybody asks, and that is, what gun should I use? Now, as you can see over here in my inventory, I have a ton of guns. I have my ISIS, which is the gun I bought probably about 18 months ago, that served me all the way through until when I just recently bought my Zora. So I will run through those a little bit. But today what I'm going to talk about is more the starting weapons. So when you start the game, you're going to get yourself a Solomate, I think the Solomate Rubio, something like that. But it's a gun that's going to run out. And as you go through your first quest, you are going to get yourself the Buchan spare rifle. So this thing, it looks okay, doesn't look bad. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you here. So it does 4.4 DPS. It's got 57.2% efficiency. It doesn't require any skill level to use. And as you can see down the bottom here, obviously I'm overqualified for it, so I got 10 hit, 10 critical hit, and it has a learning period of 0 to 2. So one of the things that people ask me is, what should I be using to start with? And the other options really, and I'm just going to go into the trade terminal. So the other option you have, I'm just going to put that, I'm going to pin that. By the way, if you didn't know, if you want to compare things, you can actually pin to keep the window. So let me just pull out the, is that one? No, I'll pull out the rifle. So if I pull out the rifle here, so the first thing you look at is 5.2 DPS against 4.4 DPS. Okay, so then you can look at the other details. 57.2% efficiency to 57% efficiency doesn't really make that much difference. The learning period's slightly bigger on the Solomate, so that means you're going to be improving your skills for longer. Okay, and then down the bottom, this has got an excellent durability. This has got exceptional, so it means it's going to last longer. Your decay is not going to be quite as high. Your attacks per minute is going to be the same. Burn damage, basically the same. It has a bit more ammo burn than the Buchan, but you're also getting a higher DPS. So, and then damage interval 3 to 3.5. So basically, what you're looking at is, in my opinion, the Solomate's probably better. So you can get your Buchan, but if you've got 4 ped and it's burning your pockets, come grab yourself the TT weapon. Okay. There's also the pistol. The pistol is slightly better DPS again by the looks of that. Which one was that? That one. So the pistol is slightly better DPS again. It's a little bit cheaper. It's higher efficiency, and obviously the range isn't as good, but it actually shooting more. It's got lower ammo burn, but it's shooting more. So basically, it's the DPS that really matters. So your ammo burn is going to be slightly lower, but you're shooting more often. But effectively, you're getting your 5.8. So really, it depends what you're looking for. Personally, I've always built my long range. Logic behind that is, if you're shooting things from a distance and you kill them before they get to you, you don't need top level armor. Or you can use armor that you don't want to take hits, because there are some endgame armors that you really don't want to get damaged. Whereas the pistol, it's much closer combat, but actually what you'll find is in the auction house they're much cheaper. Now the other thing, let me just pull that out here a second. So the other thing that if you really have money and burning a hole in your pocket, if it's real world money, what you can do is in the starter pack, you can go get yourself the Barbarella. Okay, so this is the Barb. It comes with the starter pack with the armor as well, and when you have all the items attached to it, the Eagle, the Syncadus and the Ardod, it's got a 62.1% efficiency. It does 7.1 DPS. The range on it's pretty good, 60 meters. The burn's a little bit higher again, but you're doing higher DPS. This is a pretty good weapon, and I still use this regularly today. One of the main reasons I'm using it is just for killing low level mobs. If I get a low, if I'm doing like my tier 1 challenge or something like that, I'll switch this and kill with this because it's pretty good, pretty efficient, and it does the job. So you've got the Barb. The other ones that you'll find in the auction house, let me just tag that. So the first one you'll find is this one. So the Ozpin LR S1X1, you'll find it in the auction house. It's usually somewhere between TT plus 20 to 30. There's usually several in the auction house. It's not a bad gun. Looking at it here, the efficiency is not as good as the Barb. You also do need 5 skill level to use it, which means 10 to use it effectively. And I will touch on effectiveness in a second. But it's, you know, this is exceptional, this is excellent. I mean, that's got all the add-ons, but 200 to 255. Let me take the add-ons off this for a second to touch attachments. So this one's actually 57, this is 54 once you've got all the add-ons. So the add-ons, basically you've got a scope, which will slide on there. You've got an amp, which is that the amp or the sight? Yeah, you've got the amp, and then you've got a sight, which is this one. Yeah, so you got laser sight. So each gun can have 2 laser sights, 1 scope, and 1 amp. So you can boost that way. So this LR S1X1 is fine. You can buy it for, as I said, TT plus 20 to 30. So if the TT's 10, you're probably looking at buying it for somewhere around 30 to 40 ped. So once you've been sweating for a few days, you can go ahead and get that. If you are spending a little bit of money, I just recommend you get the Barb and the starting armor. It's worth it. You'll end up using it for the entire time. As you can see, I haven't bothered tearing this up. The difference between the Barb is, so the Barb you can't sell it. So if I hover over it here, can only be sold to the trade terminal. So I can't sell that to other players. So there's no real point in leveling it up, because I'm not going to use enhancers on the Barb. The LR S1X1, because people like tiering things, or they like things that are tiered, you might actually get slightly more for it for tiering it. It still isn't actually worth putting an enhancer on it, quite honestly, because it just isn't. Yeah, you can tier it up and try and sell it for a little bit more. The other option is the pistol. So the pistol, the BP S1X1, actually does 11.8 DPS, which is pretty good. Requires 7 as a recommended level, and 12 to use it effectively. This one's a little bit better, again, the range. So really you've got to decide, because it's going to level up BLP. It's also going to level up pistol, not laser. So you got to make your call and decide on that. So for me, if you're not spending any money, head up to the trade terminal, grab yourself a Solomate, an XO, or Omegatron, depending on whether you want to go pistol or rifle. Again, I prefer rifle. I want to be at range. I don't want to get hit. I want to shoot things before they get to me. Some people like meleeing. By all means, grab yourself a melee weapon. Again, that means you're going to get hit. I plan to get armor that doesn't, that means I don't get hit. So yeah, if you're not spending, grab yourself one of these two. If you are saving up and you want to get a slightly better gun than this, go grab yourself the LR S1X1 or the BP S1X1. And finally, if you're spending real money and you want to just get the starter kit, then the barb is your friend and will do you good until you really upgrade a little bit later on. Just one thing I want to point out, you'll see a lot of weapons in the auction house like this one. So on paper it looks good, 6.2 DPS. The efficiency is not quite so good, but you see here you require 100 skill level to use it effectively. Now if I scroll down, even at my level, which is 40 to 50, you know, I can't use this gun fully effectively. So every time I hit, the damage interval is going to be between 3 and 8, instead of, if the gun's being used at full efficiency, between 4 and 8. And the hit ability, I'm not at max, which means I'm going to be missing more than if I was max. And the crit ability, again, I'm not going to be hitting my full crit rate. So what that actually means is I'm not going to be using this gun efficiently. Even though it's super low level, the skill level here is actually really critical, okay? And as you progress through the game, what you're going to find is, so just to show you, this is a gun, this is the token gun that I've been using, right? And I'll do a whole thing on token guns, but this is a token gun I've been using. You can see here 35 of 48, which means down the bottom here everything is maxed out. Okay, now if I look at this one, let me just, yeah, it's tagged. If I look at this one, so obviously the DPS is 81, it's kind of a higher level gun. Now this one requires 55. Now because 55 is over my level, if I try and equip it first, it will actually say to me, your current skill level is not enough to use this item efficiently. So it's already warning you, you're not going to be getting the most out of the gun. Now if I scroll down, you'll see here my hit ability is 0 and my crit ability is 0. What that means is I'm just not going to hit as much and I'm not going to crit as much. And then also, because this is not a 100 gun, it's actually a scaling gun, my damage interval is going to be 34 to 68 instead of 68 to 136. So that's just massive. That's just massive. And the other thing is attacks per minute. I'm going to be only shooting 16 times instead of a potential 36. So my damage capability, because I'm not meeting this minimum required level, it's just not worth using it at all. Now the difference between that and the Jester, now the difference between that and a 100 gun is you can use it, it has functionality, it's usable, and that's how it teases you into buying some of the guns that are on the auction house. Because guns that are on the auction house, unlimited ones, have this 100 skill level. You can use them, you're just not using them as effectively as if you're using a gun that's within your range. Okay? So that's my first video on guns. I'm going to leave it there for today. What you want to do, there's going to be more on guns, but this is really just talking about what do I use to start off with. So choices: get yourself a barb if you're spending your whatever it is, 35, 50 bucks or something on the store. If you save up in game, get yourself the LR or the BP, and otherwise just use the TT gun. I mean, just use the TT gun. The Buchan, yeah, it's free, yeah, it's unlimited, but don't worry about it being unlimited. You're still burning the same amount of PED as you are just pulling it straight from the trade terminal. Once you start buying guns from the auction house and you're getting markup, different story. But if you're just pulling from the TT, not worth it. Thanks for watching. This is the first video on guns. I will be talking about guns a lot more moving forward. I'm not really going to touch too much on melee weapons, really just focus on guns. So that's it. Please like and subscribe, and I will be back to you soon with another gun video very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Night night.